Welcome to episode 97 of the Epilogue Lady podcast. My name is Bente and I'm coming to you from Vesterålen, northern Norway, where I live with my husband and 3 cats. You can find me on Instagram as Arctic Crafts, on Facebook and Etsy as Arctic Crafts by Bente, and on Ravelry as Arctic Crafts 65. There is also a group for this podcast on Ravelry where you can enter make-alongs and the occasional giveaway. I also have a Ko-fi page where you can support me and the podcast. That's it for the usual intro. I'm not sure where to start. We can start by talking about the weather. It's overcast today, perfect light for a podcast. So that's a good thing. I think I'm going to start with the important bit, because if you follow me on Instagram, you saw a post I did yesterday about the future of Etsy, my Etsy shop. And we'll just talk about that to begin with, to get that out of the way, and then we can start talking about the other stuff. Those of you who have been with me for a while know that I have not been able to make an income from dyeing yarn. I've been doing this for 4 years now and I still am not making any money. Everything has gotten real expensive in Norway. Everything from mortgage to electricity. Food has become more expensive, so I sort of needed to have an income so I can contribute to the household finances. And because I'm partly disabled because of my osteoarthritis and my anxiety problems, I could apply for something called I think it's called a labor assessment allowance or something like that. It's supposed to help me have an income while they try to find me some work that might work for me. And in the meantime, I get an allowance. Thing is, all the work I do while I'm getting this allowance is deducted from the allowance, even if I'm not making any money. So basically that would mean I had to pay, more or less, to dye yarn. Or lose money, if you will. And the income is more important. I'll still dye yarn, of course, but for fun, for prizes, for giveaways, or make-alongs, for gifts, for friends. But I won't be dyeing yarn for sale anymore. Because if I'm not selling the yarn, it's considered a hobby. And nobody bothers about hobbies. So that's why my Etsy shop is closing. I'm closing it on August 31st. Until then, I will be dyeing and putting into the shop. There won't be any regular updates from now on. But I'll dye yarn as soon as it's dry. I'm putting it in the shop. And that's how it's going to be done until the end of August. May 1st, I'll start my clearance sale. And all prices will drop by 25% for everything until the end of August. I'm trying to get rid of as much as possible of my stock. And if you saw the Instagram post yesterday, you saw that it said, say yes to new adventures. And that's because I decided to think positively about this. Because nobody's telling me not to dye yarn. And I love dyeing yarn, and I'm going to keep dyeing yarn. Not as often and not as much, because that would mean I would have a big stash of my own hand-dyed yarn. That's not feasible. So I'm if I need a sweater quantity, I'll dye up that sweater quantity, if you know what I mean. But I won't be dyeing yarn regularly. This, however, means that because I have an income, I actually can afford buying the odd skein of hand dyed from other dyers. I get to support other dyers. I can afford buying the odd pattern and thereby support designers. And I'm also going to do a de-stash and try to sell some hand knits. Sweaters, shawls that never been worn. And I'm closing the Etsy shop and I'm trying to figure out how to sell stuff on Facebook. Because I have a Facebook page, Arctic Crafts by Bente. And I know it's possible to make a shop from a Facebook page. So I'll see what I can do about that. I'm not sure how the rules are because as it is, I have this company VAT number. I'm going to get rid of the company and everything. So I'm not sure if I can still have that page on Facebook the way it works now. We'll see. I'm not going to keep the company anyway. But this means I have more time on my hands to do other stuff. I'm thinking about getting my sewing machine out. It hasn't been used for several years. Thankfully, there is a person here in STOKMARKNES that does repairs on sewing machines. I don't think there's anything wrong with my sewing machine, so I'm going to get it out, clean it thoroughly, open it up, get rid of all the dust, give it some oil, and try it out. Hopefully it works without me having to do anything with it. I could of course also buy a cheap sewing machine, but as long as I have this sewing machine, I think I'm going to try to get it to work. How old is it now? I bought it in 1984 while I went to high school where I learned how to sew clothes from my own designs and from patterns. It's 1984, so that means that sewing machine is 40 years old next year. Isn't that right? Yeah, 40 years old next year. And it was really advanced at the time. It actually has its own buttonhole setting. That was really advanced back then. So hopefully it still works. Because I loved sewing my own clothes back then. And I think I'm going to try that again. I have more time to draw. I'm going to have time to actually learn how to spin. Part of the reason for the de-stash is that I want to put the money towards buying myself a spinning wheel. Because of my shoulders, I can't get the spindle thing to work. I need to be able to sit like this and spin. That means a wheel, and I think I'm going to get an Ashford Kiwi because they're small and you can sort of collapse them a bit so they don't take a lot of space when they're not in use. So that's an expensive purchase. So I'm going to do a de-stash to put the money towards a spinning wheel. And just so you know, I'm going to continue with the YouTube channel. I'm going to continue with the podcasts. The make-alongs are running as planned. The Tea Time Mal until the 31st of May. Then the Arctic Summer of Socks starts. And August 31st, that ends. And then September 1st, the Spooky Month starts, and December 1st, the Grinch Month starts. So everything is running as planned. Only thing is, I need the prices because I might not have a lot on my own hand to use as prices anymore. So hopefully I can get some donations for prices. I have the prices ready for the Tea Time Mal. And I'm also doing a giveaway for my episode 100. And now it's episode 97. I have the prize ready. I didn't bring it with me. I'll show you maybe next time. Anyways, I'm doing a big giveaway for episode 100. That's it for the big news, I think. I'm thinking about getting a proper camera for my channel, because I'm thinking I'm going to do more vlogs now that I have more time on my hands. So I'm going to be more active on YouTube, I guess. Sometime in the fall, I might be. They might put me out to try out different jobs. Then I might be more busy. But at least I try to keep up the podcasting every other Friday, and then I'll probably there will be more contents on the Bente's Bag of Holding channel playlist. It's a playlist, it's not a channel. I'm so sorry. I always get those mixed up. So that's it for that news. And I also want to thank everybody that has commented on my podcasts and videos on YouTube. I read everything and I put a heart on it. And I haven't been very good at answering comments the last few months. I'll try to get better at it, but I don't always feel up to it, and I feel a bit bad about it, but thank you so much for all your comments. I promise you, I read everything. And I've also been a bit busy lately because my son is moving back to STOKMARKNES, and he has to live with us to begin with until he gets his own place and gets a job and so on. And I have to clear space for him. I've cleared out the bathroom cabinet. He needs the space there. I've cleared out a closet for him, so he has somewhere to put his clothes. The Arctic Crafts stock is stored in the bedroom he's going to use when he gets here, because we only have one spare bedroom, and that's Arctic Crafts. Everything that has to do with Arctic Crafts is in there. So I have to sort of get everything a bit more together, if you know what I mean, because I have one of those big shelves that's got 16 cubby holes. And that's where I store my yarn. And I need to clear at least 4 of those for him. So I'm going to put everything. Hopefully I sell a lot of yarn, so he gets as much space as possible in that. My personal stash is stored elsewhere. It's stored in tubs under the bed in the spare bedroom. So maybe if I can clear out my personal stash, he can use those because he doesn't bring a lot of stuff with him. But what he does bring with him, we need to store somewhere. So that's that. I'm going to keep on clearing space for him, of course. So I'm going to be a bit busy. But and one more thing. I'm starting with all the epilogues. So this time it's the prologue lady. And I still haven't begun talking about knitting. I don't have a lot on knitting today, so why not do all this? If you're not interested in all this babble, you just go ahead and skip all this. I'll try to remember to... I'm not sure how the timestamp stuff works. I'd probably have to learn that, but you'll see. Just fast forward until I start talking about knitting. I'm going to do something exciting in the fall because now I can afford to travel. I'm going to visit my Norwegian bestie, Trine. She has been here several times. I've never visited her. And she lives in a really beautiful place called Abelvær. It's in Trøndelag, the county I'm from originally. And it's a tiny, I'm not sure you can call it a village even, out by the sea. And it's beautiful, and I've never been. And my niece, my only niece, we have a really tiny family, and she lives close by Abelvær. So I'm going to get most out of this. I'm going to travel by the Coastal Express. That's a bit exciting because I've never done it, and it's the perfect way to travel for me. Because I'm anxious, I'm an introvert, I hate having lots of people around me. If I travel on the Coastal Express, I have a cabin that I can hide in if I get too anxious. So that's the perfect way to travel for me. So I'm going by the Coastal Express from STOKMARKNES to a town called Rørvik. And my niece is picking me up in Rørvik, and I'm spending a night with her, and then she's driving me to Trine. And I'm then spending about a week with Trine, I suppose. And that's going to happen this fall. And I'm really excited about it. Now I can afford to travel. I don't have a shop I have to take care of. I don't have to stay at home to dye yarn. I can take a week off without any issues. So I'm going to go to Abelvær in the fall. But I don't want to go too late in the fall either, because there's something called autumn storms, and I'm going by boat. You can't call it a boat, sorry, it's a ship. And now that I've talked about all that, I don't think it's going... hopefully there won't be a lot of life stuff at the end. Unless I think of something. But I don't think I will. I think I've talked about all the important bits. I can mention I mentioned 2 make-alongs for you at the start as well, since I'm on a roll, apparently. There are 2 make-alongs I'm going to participate in, and one of them I'm actually donating a prize to. And I wanted you to know about them. One is, I don't know if you remember, I've been talking about the Knitters and Critters podcast. It is what it sounds like. It's part Critical Role, Dungeons and Dragons, and knitting. And they're doing a Dungeons and Dragons knit-along, or make-along. I think it's a make-along. This summer, I'm donating a prize for it. And if you go to their Instagram, Knitters and Critters, one word, you'll find out more about that. You get more information about that. And the other make-along was something I discovered yesterday when my bestie Sue shared this link on Instagram. One of her friends from the UK, Instagram is my_Yarny_ Corner, and she is working together with some other people, and they're doing a Eurovision sock-along, and it's inspired by the Ukraine. So you have to use yellow and blue yarn, or one of their Eurovision sock-along yarn kits, or you have to knit socks by a Ukrainian designer. I bought my pattern, I've got my yarn ready, and you can't cast on until the 9th of May, because that's when the craziness starts. But you have until the end of May to finish. But you don't have to finish the pair, you just have to be able to put one on your foot and show it on Instagram. You don't even have it to be finished, but you have to have done as much. And they showed some pictures of people that had a half sock on. It was really fun. So that starts May 9th. And as I said, my_Yarny_Corner. That's Alex. I think that's her name in the UK. And she also sells hand-dyed yarn. So that's another make-along that I wanted to mention. And the reason why it's Ukrainian themed is because the Ukraine won the Eurovision last year. And for obvious reasons, they can't host it this year. So it's being hosted in Liverpool, in the UK, instead, on behalf of the Ukraine. So there's still the hosts, but the venue is in Liverpool. So now maybe we can start talking about knitting. I'm wearing one piece of knitwear today, and it's a shawl. And I might take it off now that I've shown it to you, because I can feel it's a bit warm. And it's a one skein shawl that I really loved knitting, and I've been looking through my stash for a skein that would work with this shawl, because I want to knit another one, but I have a lot of stuff on my needles. But I still want to cast on another of these. It's the Venezia shawl by Joji Locatelli. I don't remember the name of the colorway, but this is hedgehog fibers. And maybe I should knit it in a cotton yarn or a cotton blend, so I can wear it in the summer. But at the same time, this is the typical pattern that works really well with variegated or speckled yarn. So I might just go through my stash of hand-dyed sock yarn to find something. Or if I can find a skein of 100% merino. I don't have a lot of those, but I have a few, and those are basically a bit difficult to find projects for, because I love knitting socks, and one skein of hand-dyed, what else? One skein shawls or socks, or contrast colors for other stuff. But I'm going through my stash and seeing if I can find a skein that would work for another one of these. I finished the birthday present. When it comes to FOs, I have two that I can't show you. One because it was a birthday present for the aforementioned Trine. It's off in the mail, and as soon as she has opened her present and has seen it, I'm going to show it to you. So next time I podcast, I will be able to show you a picture of it. I've also finished a pair of socks. That was a test knit, and they're being released May 10th, I think. So I'm able to show you those next podcast. And that was stone knits. And then I have one more FO that I can show you. And you've seen this before, because I've been working on this longer than usual for me for a short-sleeved sweater. But here goes. It's the Salty Air Tea by Samantha Guerin. And it's for Sue, Crafty Knitter 7, for her birthday. This colorway was started as an accident, and I really love it. Because I was dyeing up some guacamole. It got brown streaks because the color broke on me. And I didn't like that, because guacamole isn't supposed to have brown streaks in it. That's what happens to guacamole if you forget to put lemon juice in it, so it turns brown. So I decided to try to dye over it with a darker green, and I used Arctic Pine, one of my other colorways. And I got this beautiful green. Even I like this green. I don't think it as greens on camera. Maybe that's one of the things that would improve if I get a proper camera for the podcast. But anyways, this is finished. It isn't blocked yet. I dyed yarn yesterday, so I have to wait until that's dry before I block this, because I use the bathroom for drying yarn, and I use the bathroom floor for blocking. And this colorway, Fern, is part of what I dyed yesterday. I dyed up 4 skeins of Fern on Highland Sport. And I dyed up some Chaotic Good on Silver Sparkle. And the Chaotic Good was a no-brainer because I'm also clearing out the laundry room. That's where I store all my dye stock. And I'm clearing that out as well because what I'm dyeing from now on, I'll just mix the colors while I'm dyeing. I haven't used the dye stocks in jars for a long time anyway, so I'm using it up for Chaotic Good. So there will be more Chaotic Good. That's what I call my one-of-a-kinds. So there will be more of that in the months to come because I'm using up dye stock. And I'm probably going to donate one of those for the Knitters and Critters make along. It only makes sense. I might do one. I still have Valspira the Void in stock. That's also a D&D colorway. It's my husband's, one of my husband's player characters in our going campaign. He's the DM, but he also has a PC because we're only 2 people. When my son moves in, we'll be starting a new campaign because he also plays D&D. So we're going to do an in-house campaign. And then hubby can concentrate on being a DM because then we'll be 2 player characters. So that's also happening. And see, there I go on the tangent. So that's my FOs. Then we'll look at my whips. 2 of them you've seen before. And I've hardly done anything on them because I've been working to finish that sweater for Sue. This is my coffee break socks, socks by Stone Knits. I'm not sure I even did work anything on this at all since I last showed you, but this is the coffee break socks by Stone Knits. The main color is from, I think they're called Tamiwi. I'm not sure. Etsy shop from Germany. One of the first skeins of hand-dyed I bought. And I never used it for anything. And then I suddenly realized this would be perfect for the main color for a Stone Knits sock. And this is so perfect for this pattern because, as you can see, there are brown specks in it. And the contrast color on this is my own Brickyard, and it's actually sport weight, gold sport with nylon in it. But it actually worked for these socks. I'm also doing the second pair of the test knit for myself. I can't show you that either. I'll show you that next time. I've done that for 2 reasons. One, the first pair I knit for Trine. So those I've sent in the mail. So I decided to knit another pair so I can show you the socks properly when the pattern is released. And I wanted a pair of those socks myself because I really love the pattern. So, but I can't show you yet. And the other work in progress that you've also seen before is my Felix cardigan that I'm knitting in yarn from my local yarn store. It's Viking Eco Highland, and the reason why I decided to knit something for myself in this yarn is because I knit a sweater for hubby in this yarn and I really loved working with it. So this is, and I'm not in the middle of a row. I've split for the sleeves, so I'm on the body, and this is going to be sort of cropped, I think, because I'm knitting this in sort of a summery color because I want to use it this summer, and I'm knitting it in the color that would match jeans Because after I lost the weight, I love wearing jeans. I hated wearing jeans before I lost the weight because I preferred to wear oversized tops and tights. And now I love wearing jeans. I even wear skinny jeans. I'm not sure what happened to me. So this is so maybe even the sleeves will be 3/4 sleeves. But again, this is a worsted, so I might just do it long sleeved. Sort of a worsted cardigan with 3/4 sleeves maybe doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm doing this with a worsted, and this is now hibernating because I of course cast on something new. And this is also with yarn I bought at my local yarn store. Do I have a yarn? I'll go and get the yarn label. I thought I had everything beside me, but I didn't. And this is the yarn I'm using. I'm using Tynn Line from Sandnes garn. And it's, let's see, it's 53% cotton, 33% viscose, and 14% linen. And this is the colorway. It's a really, really pale, dusty pink. And I cast this on yesterday evening, so I haven't gotten that far. But I at least started it. There's a lot of the leftovers from Sue's sweater is in here, so that's why sort of chaos. I'm not sure what to... I'm going to weigh the leftovers from Sue's sweater and see if I can't use it for a contrast color in something. Anyways. This is... It's difficult to show you when it's that, when I haven't gotten further than this. It's a bottom-up sweater. And it's... I was supposed to cast this on a long time ago because this was also part of my... I was going to knit the tea time make along with you. So this is one of my projects for that. And the salty air tea was the other one. This is the pattern Shawl by Jacqueline Cieslak. And I'm knitting it. I'm not knitting it with a lot of positive ease because hopefully I can wear it only with a sleeveless t-shirt underneath. Maybe on top of a dress. I'll see what I can do. But this is what it looks like so far. And I wanted to knit this ever since I saw it the first time. And I finally got around to doing it. And this is a fun knit because you have all this stockinette and then you have a bit to do. You have a lace chart here and then you have some stockinette and you have another lace chart. It's asymmetrical, so you have the lace chart down on one side. So that's the Shawl by Jacqueline Cieslak. This is cropped. So hopefully it won't take me that long to knit. But the season for that type of garment isn't until late June, early July. So I have plenty of time. So maybe I could knit a bit on my Felix cardigan. Anyway. I could even cast on another one of these. So that's actually all my active whips. If you saw my frog or finish episode on Bente's bag of holding, if you haven't, go check it out. It's on the other playlist. You know that I have several whips that I'm not working on. That's just the way it is. So then I only have one thing left, and that's show and tell. No shameless self-promotion, even though I've told you I'm starting the clearance sale on May 1st. And I dyed some yarn yesterday. It's not dry, so I can't show it to you, but it's only 4 skeins of fern on Highland Sport. And that's going into the shop as soon as it's dry, because like I told you, there won't be any updates as such from now until I close the shop August 31st. I'm just going to dye yarn, and when it's dry, I'm taking pictures and putting it in the shop, just to keep it going until August 31st. I have to take off this because the combination of the temperature in the room and my coffee drinking, I'm hot. So that's, so I only got one thing I want to show you in the mail, and it's this. It's a mini skein set from Chromatic Yarns, and it's the DM's library collection. And this is so much fun because what she did one skein from each of 5 books that she calls the DM's library. It's I'm looking over there because I have 2 of the books here. It's the Dungeon Master book. One of them is the Dungeon Master book. One is the Player's Handbook. It's inspired by the cover of the books. And I know one of them is the Monster Manual. I don't remember the last 2. Anyways, it's 5 different books from Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons. And she's calling it the DM's library collection. And because my husband is the DM, I probably should knit him a pair of socks with this. But I don't want to because it's too beautiful, it's too pretty, and it's sort of a fade. I'm not sure if I can call this a fade, but I'm thinking this works. If I put it in this order, or maybe this order. No, I think I have to start with this and work it like this. I'll see. I'm not sure about what the order to put these two, but I think this works as a fade. So I'm not sure I want to knit hubby a pair of socks with this. I think this is a bit too precious for that. This is 100 grams of yarn. I can get 2 pairs of shorties from that. So maybe I'll knit me and hubby matching shorties. But I can't be 100% sure that I have enough for a pair of shorties for me if I knit him a pair first. So that's a bit scary as well. So I'll let you know when I figure out what to use this for. Because, as I've been saying, this part of the business will keep going. Arctic Crafts podcast. So the only thing that's going to disappear is the Etsy shop. So I'll still have my business cards, I still have my logo, everything is going to stay the same except for the Etsy shop. That's going to disappear. So maybe I should just stop talking. Thank you for staying until the end. If you're still here, thank you so much. The reason why I did the announcement at the start was because I know for a fact that people sometimes drop out of my podcasts before they've seen the whole thing. And that was sort of an important announcement, so I did it at the start. And I have to check my notes. Hopefully I haven't forgotten anything. No, I haven't forgotten anything. I actually remembered everything this time. And I'm going to make myself another cup of coffee and edit this. And I hope you have a really nice weekend. And I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Bye bye.